evening and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is a bit of a follow-up video to a video I put out a short time ago about PRS guitars. I got myself into a bit of bother by being a little bit sarcastic perhaps about PRS guitar owners, and specifically to do with bird inlays. Well, I was in a position at the time that I'd never owned a PRS guitar before, and I was a bit curious about the whole thing, and I was just trying to find out some information and run into some rather interesting characters and put a little video out about that. But to follow up on that, I did a thing in the last day or two, and I got one. Hey, there it is, look, beautiful, look at this. So, let me tell you what it is. I got my hands on what's technically considered an entry-level PRS guitar, an SE. Specifically, this one is an SE Custom 24 Floyd, and it's called that because it's got Floyd rose tremolo on it. Look, there you go, Floyd rose there, and it locks up there, and it's all very good. But hello, I've got birds. I've got little birds on this guitar, and do you know what, I don't mind them, it looks alright, apart from this one up on the 24th fret, which for some reason looks more like a turtle than a bird, but okay, I've got some birds and a turtle, so that's fine with me, that's cool. But yeah, I mean, look at this thing, it's beautiful, look at that beautiful top on it, that lovely flame, and the cool pickups there, the zebra pickups, and it's got some nice little features, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about it. And so I have pretty much just got this thing and I haven't really had much of a chance to play with it, so I'm kind of just now getting my head around it and having a little play with it to see what it's all about. And I thought I'd give my sort of impressions of it, given that I'm a virgin to PRS guitars. Never had one before. I've always been a Fender guy, always been a Gibson guy, and so I always wondered kind of what these were all about, and so I thought I'd kind of share my feelings about this as I play one for the very first time. I'll be honest with you, I can't ever remember actually having one in my hands to even try, so interesting I've gone this long without being able to do that. Having played so many guitars over the years and had so many guitars, it's a bit strange that I've never actually had my hands on a PRS. But just before we get into that, I'll tell you a little bit about what's going on with this guitar. So there's some nice spec going on with this. Like I say, even though it's an entry-level one, these things still aren't relatively budget priced, I'll be honest with you. They're still quite highly priced. I think these ones retail for around about the £900 mark. I didn't pay that much, but there you go. And just to go through the spec of it, yes, it's got a beveled maple top with flame maple veneer, and this one I believe is called charcoal something or other. It's very nice, isn't it? Very dark and very moody and very cool. But it's a mahogany body. It's got 24 frets. Scale length is 25 inches, a little bit shorter than a Fender, a little bit longer than a Les Paul, and it's got a bit of an unusual neck on it, I'll be honest with you, for my standards anyway. It's quite a wide neck, but it's also quite a slim neck, and preliminarily noodling with it gives me the impression that that's quite comfortable, and I quite like that. So what else we've got going on? The fretboard is rosewood. We've got the bird inlays, yes, the little birdies, look. There you go, whatever, that's the noise they make. And of course we've got the Floyd Rose tremolo, and I think that's the 1000 model Floyd Rose for anyone who's interested in that. And the pickups themselves are what are called 8515S pickups, which are, I guess, a budget version of the sort of US made pickups that go in the Custom 24, but otherwise that's pretty much all there is to it. The only other exception to note is that this thing has a push-pull pot, so if I pull, bloop, there you go, that thing, it splits the coils and turns these into single coils. Pop that back down, we're back in humbucker mode. Other than that, three-way switch, one pickup, other pickup, both pickups in the middle. And that is pretty much it. So earlier on today I put this thing on the bench, and I got the whole thing apart, took all the old strings off it, took every nut and bolt out of it, and just had a good look around the thing inside and out, and found some reasonably interesting things about it. The trem cavity was revealed. It's actually quite a rough cut. routing in it, but it's still nice and neat and tidy. The trem block on it seemed a little bit skinny and a little bit lightweight, but it doesn't seem to cause any problems with it. And then looking in the control cavity, you could see all the switching in there. There's a couple of little interesting things going on with that. There was some capacitance across the main volume pot wiper, so it's doing something fun there, pulling something out as you sweep the pot. Other than that, yeah, it's got the push-pull pot in there, and all the wiring associated with that, and otherwise it's all pretty standard fare, but pretty high quality, I would say, as well. The overall build quality of both the body itself and the electronics so far I've found to be really, really good. Even though this is made in Indonesia under license, exclusive license apparently, if you read the back of the headstock, then it's pretty well built. I mean, the binding on it looks great. Look at that. Looks fantastic. The finish work is fantastic. The body shape is really nice. And the first thing that struck me when I strapped this thing up was just how light it is. It's a very light guitar. I mean, compared to a Les Paul, oh my god, it feels like it weighs about half as much as a Les Paul. I'm sure that's probably not the case, but it does feel very, very light by comparison. So therefore, very comfortable to strap on and play with. Other than that, there's not a lot going on. Standard PRS tuners there. Nothing special about them. They're not locking or anything. Obviously, you don't need that because you've got a locking nut. So without further ado, as I always say, why don't we give this thing a little play and see where we end up. Alright, so we're going to start off with a little bit of a meaty sound here. We've got the Marshall, the DSL 40. We're running a Wampler triple rec clone into it, giving it some super heavy high gain distortion. So starting with the bridge pickup, let's see where she goes. Ooh, it's quite tight actually. Totally comfortable to play, really nice. Do you know what I would say is it's because of the wider neck, and I'm assuming it's got a slightly wider spacing, it seems everything's just that little bit more accessible. You can get in there and you can really pinch on stuff and get in there and find it, and yeah, it seems very comfortable to play. I'll tell you what, let's clean her out a little bit and see what it's like on that end of things. So this is just the raw amp, really. Let's put it in the neck and see if she warms up a little bit. I can really see why, or I'm really starting to see why these are kind of like the third choice, because it's kind of got a little bit of that twang of a Strat. And it's also got just that little bit of that bite of a Les Paul. bit of a voice of its own, really, and I put that down to perhaps the body shape and the pickups and all that. And yeah, it's quite nice. I quite like it. Let's do the little push-pull thing and see what the single coil sounds like. So we'll stay in the neck position and tap her in. Okay.
Okay, I'll be honest with you, it's a little bit weak for me, that. When you drop away from that humbucker, you know, it's going to be, but it doesn't quite have the full bite that I'd expect from a normal proper single coil. Let's flip that over to the bridge and see what that's sounding like. Okay, it's well behaved, I'll give it that. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the split coil, I'll be honest with you. I think just takes a little bit too much out of the body of the tone there, but it's got a voice, you know, it's got that sort of quack. And we don't mind that. It's nice. It's quite stratty, but not quite a thing of its own. So back to the humza. Okay, well, yeah, it's doing things. It's quite nice. I haven't really dialed much of a tone in with this, to be honest. I've just kind of plugged in at what I had it set at and just went with it. So, but I think this thing really likes to live in the high gain end of things. So let's revisit. One thing I will say, this thing is extremely well made. Just the feel of the neck, you know, the way the frets have kind of been rolled at the end, and that the way that meet the end of the neck. It's all very, very smooth, very comfortable, very, very nice. Yeah, I'm actually really impressed. So yeah, sorry I was a bit funny about PRS guitars in the past. It was all in good jest, you know what they say. So I'm a happy boy. I like PRS guitars, so I'm sorry I said a few bad things about PRS guitars in the past and the bird inlays and all that, you know. But the bird inlays do look quite nice on this thing, I will give it that. Yeah, I'm in the club now, so cheers guys!